After the flowers, let's make the leaves. The leaves start with the foundation chain. Crochet in rounds. The method for each leaf is identical. While crocheting, we need to add thin wire. The new stitch is DC 2-in-1. Now, please watch me demonstrate. First, let's start with foundation chain. Pick up the yarn with your right hand. Wrap it around your left little finger. Thread it between the middle finger and index finger. Pinch the yarn tail with your left thumb and middle finger. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Move the hook between these 2 points. Position the hook below the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pinch the crossing point with your left thumb and middle finger. Then, place the hook on the left side of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Draw the yarn through the loop. Tighten the yarn tail. Note: the loop on the hook should be slightly loose. This makes it easier for crocheting later. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Start crocheting chains. 1 chain is done. Continue wrapping the yarn. This is the second stitch. There should be a total of 12 stitches here. Continue crocheting. One braid represents 1 stitch. The loop on the hook does not count as a stitch. The foundation chain is now explained. Next, crochet the first round. First, take a piece of thin wire and set it aside. Then, work 1 beginning chain. The beginning chain does not count as a stitch. Then, work 1 slip stitch. When crocheting, place the wire above the hook and below the yarn. Leave some distance on the right side. On the right side, the chain looks like this V-shaped braid. Pick up the top loop on the left. It's this strand. Slip stitch completed. The wire is also woven in. We put a stitch marker on the slip stitch. Then, on the left chain, work a single crochet, pick up the top loop. Pay attention to wrapping the wire. This completes 1 single crochet. Continue working 1 single crochet into the next top loop. Remember to wrap the wire as you crochet. I won't repeat this again. Number 2 single crochets are completed. Continue picking the top loop 1 by 1. Work 2 half double crochets and 2 double crochets. Now it's done. Next, we encounter a new stitch, DC 2 in 1, which means working 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Pick the top loop similarly. On this side, pick 1 strand to crochet. I won't repeat this again. One, 2. DC 2 in 1 is completed. Continue working 2 double crochets. And 1/2 double crochet correspondingly. Now we're at the last chain. Pick the top loop of the chain. Work 2 single crochets. Chain 1. Then work a slip stitch. Insert into the front strand and the left strand of the single crochet for the slip stitch. Slip stitch is completed. Work another single crochet in the same position. This forms a tip. Fold the wire in half. On the other side of the chain. There are still 2 strands like this. From now on, crochet on these strands. Rotate the piece half a circle clockwise. Start by the second chain remaining strand. Work 1/2 double crochet. Similarly, this side still needs to wrap the wire. Note: this is the first chain. Start working into the left chain. When crocheting, place the starting yarn tail above the hook. Weave in as you go. The stitch on this side is symmetrical to the other side. Work 2 stitches in the same hole. You can see the entry position for this half double crochet. On the opposite side, there is also 1/2 double crochet. Continue picking 2 strands using this method. Make 2 double crochets. One DC 2 in 1. Two double crochets. And 2 half double crochets. After that, crochet 2 single crochets. One slip stitch. This slip stitch is in the same position as the previous. Finally, slip stitch into the first slip stitch. That is, the stitch marker position. Remove the stitch marker. This slip stitch serves as a connection. It needs to be tightened. This completes the leaf. Finish with one chain. This chain does not count as a stitch. Tighten. Cut the yarn. The yarn tail here doesn't need to be woven. Finally, tidy up the wire. Up to this point, one leaf is completed. Finish the remaining leaves in the same way. After completing, we will now assemble them. You can see the pomegranate fruit. The flowers. Some leaves have branches underneath. We need to make the branches first before assembling. The wrapping method is the same. Here, I will use one of the flower parts as an example. Let me explain the method. Take the corresponding yarn and flower too. Apply glue above the wire. Leave some yarn tails. Then start wrapping. Pull tight while wrapping. Apply glue after wrapping a bit. This prevents the yarn from slipping. Continue wrapping in this method. You don't need to wrap all the way to the bottom. Just wrap a bit longer than the exposed part. The exposed part can be adjusted as you like. Apply glue at the end. Cut the yarn. Squeeze tightly. One branch is now wrapped. Do the same for the other flower branches and leaf stems. I have wrapped all the branches needed. When wrapping the leaves, make sure to wrap the yarn tails in. Let's continue with the pomegranate branch. Here, take 2 thick wires. Fold them in half and cut them with pliers. I've already cut them. Next, take the pomegranate. I'll demonstrate with a small sample. The specific colors and details are not for reference. We're just explaining the method. Insert the thick wire from the center at the bottom. You can insert it longer here. This way it won't wobble. Just don't let it exit the pomegranate. Then apply glue to the bottom. The making method is the same as the method for the stems of leaves. Start wrapping. Similarly, you don't need to wrap it all. Just make it a bit longer than the part that will show. Apply glue after wrapping a little distance. Apply glue at the end. Cut the yarn. Squeeze tight. This way, the stem of the pomegranate is done. Note that the stems of the pomegranates are made with thick wire. For added security, you can apply some more glue at the end. Finish the remaining stems using the same method. After stems, now let's assemble the flower branch. I'll use one of the stems as an example. Mainly explain the method. The specific assembly can be adjusted according to your preference. First, assemble the 3 flowers at the top. Take out 2 flower 1 and 1 flower 2. First, secure flower 1 and flower 2. Start by positioning them. Then begin wrapping. Take out the corresponding yarn. Apply glue underneath. Then start wrapping. Pull tight while wrapping. After wrapping for some distance, add another flower 1. Continue wrapping downward. After wrapping some distance, cut the yarn. Squeeze tightly. This completes the assembly of the 3 flowers on top. Next, look at the 2 leaf sections above. You can see 3 leaves on the left. For the leaves with stems, continue adding more leaves and start wrapping. There are 2 leaves on the right. At the very bottom, there is a flower too and a leaf. Start wrapping the leaf section on the left. Similarly, take out the leaf and the corresponding yarn. Apply glue below the leaf. Wrapping the wire and yarn tails completely. After wrapping, add another leaf. Pull the yarn tight. Continue wrapping. After wrapping some distance, apply glue. Cut the yarn. Squeeze tightly. This completes the left leaf section. Finish the right leaf section in the same way. And the flowers and leaves below. Next, let's make the stem. Place the 3 flowers and the left leaf section first. Then apply glue and start wrapping. Make sure to pull tight at the connection position. After wrapping some distance, add the right leaf section. Continue wrapping downward. Then add pomegranate 1. Pull tight. Add pomegranate 2 next. Remember to apply glue after wrapping some distance. Add pomegranate 2. Take your time when wrapping. Be mindful not to expose the wire inside. Next, add the bottom flowers and leaves. When the stem gets thinner, add the last thick wire. Keep wrapping until there are 10 centimeters left at the bottom. Apply glue at the end. Squeeze tightly. This completes the wrapping of the stem. One of the flower branches is now assembled. Finish the remaining branches in the same way. A loquat branch includes the fruit and leaves. First, crochet it. Then, assemble it. The fruit starts with the magic ring. Crochet in spirals counterclockwise. After completing, embroider the stem at the starting position. The stitches including chain. Single crochet, SC2 in 1 and SC2 tog. Now, let's me demonstrate. Get the yarn. To make it easier for you to see, I will use thick yarn for the demonstration. Colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page and the chart. Get yarn in other colors. Cut a 10 cm yarn tail, and set it aside. Then get the corresponding yarn. Begin with the magic ring. Pick up the yarn tail with your right hand. Wrap it twice around your left index finger. There are now 3 strands on your index finger. Pinch the overlapping loops with your right thumb and index finger. Take it out. Then wrap the yarn tail once around your left little finger. Thread it between the middle finger and index finger. Transfer the loops to your left middle finger and thumb. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Insert into the loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Draw the yarn through. Now there's a loop on the hook. Continue to crochet a chain. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through the loop. A chain is completed. Slightly tighten. Like this. The magic ring is completed. Next, begin the first round. Make a beginning chain. This chain does not count as a stitch. Then, work single crochets into the magic ring. When working single crochets, insert into the magic ring. Place the hook under the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. There are 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through both loops. 1 single crochet is completed. There is a V-shaped formed by 2 strands at the top right. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Continue working single crochets. Insert into the magic ring. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over. Draw through the 2 loops on the hook. The second single crochet is completed. You need to crochet 6 single crochets in the first round. Continue finishing the remaining single crochets. Three, 4, 5, 6. After that, close the magic ring. There are 2 loops. First, gently pull the yarn tail. At this point, there is 1 loop moving. Tighten this moving loop. One loop remains. Pull tight the yarn tail. This closes the ring. As you can see, this is the first round looks like after completing. Now crochet the second round. Since we are crocheting in spirals, directly work at SC2 in 1 in the first single crochet of the previous round. First, crochet a single crochet before crocheting. Take out the yarn you cut earlier. Place it above the yarn as a marker. Insert the hook. Place the starting yarn tail above the hook. Weave in as you crochet. Yarn over and pull through. In the same entry position, work another single crochet. Don't forget to weave in the end. This completes one SC2 in 1. Next, in the left stitch, work at SC2 in 1. That is, in this stitch, work 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Another SC2 in 1 is completed. The method for this round is to work at SC2 in 1 in each corresponding stitch from the previous round. Follow this method to complete the remaining stitches, that is, to the adjacent position on the right side of the marker. After completing the last SC2 in 1, you can cut the yarn tail directly. This completes round 2. Move on to round 3. Refer to the chart. Work 1 single crochet at the position marked by the yarn tail. Don't forget to mark the first stitch of each round. Then, work at SC2 in 1 in the left stitch. After completing, pick up corresponding stitches. Work 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1. The method for this round is to alternate 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1. Following this method, complete this round. When done, round 3 is completed. Move on to round 4. Refer to the chart. First, work 1 single crochet. Remember to mark the stitch. Then work 1 SC2 in 1 and 2 single crochets. Continue with the method of 1 SC2 in 1 and 2 single crochets. Keep going. After the last SC2 in 1, there is 1 stitch left. Work 1 single crochet. This single crochet plus the first single crochet makes 2 single crochets. When completed, the 4th round is finished. Move on to the 5th round. Refer to the chart. First work 4 single crochets. Then work at SC2 in 1. Following the chart. Continue crocheting. This completes the 5th round. Next, I'll show you how to count rounds. On the right side, there will be raised textures in circles. Avoid the marker positions. Start counting from the beginning round. Count how many rounds of these textures there are. This indicates how many rounds have been completed. You can see there are 5 rounds of texture here. This means 5 rounds have been crocheted. It should be noted that, after completing each round, you will notice the ending will be slightly higher than the beginning. This is normal. Move on to the 6th round. This round is working evenly with single crochets. Complete this round. This way, the 6th round is completed. From the 6th round to the 9th round, work evenly. Complete these rounds. Now, let's crochet the 10th round. The first stitch is a SC2 tog. Insert into the front loop of each single crochet. That is, into this one strand. Yarn over. Pull through. At this point, there are 2 loops on your hook. Pull through both loops at once. This completes the SC2 tog. Continue working the corresponding number of single crochets. Then crochet a SC2 tog. Insert the hook into the front loop of each single crochet. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over again, pull through all loops at once. Another SC2 tog is completed. Follow the chart to finish it. This completes the 10th round. Then take out the fiber fill. Fluff it up and stuff in. The stitches for the next few rounds have been demonstrated before. According to the chart to finish it, stuff with fiber fill as you crochet. As you can see, this is what it looks like when it's crocheted. Leave a 15 centimeter yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Then cut a 30 centimeter wire, and fold it in half. Twist the fold like this. Insert it into the opening. Thread the reserved yarn onto the sewing needle. Pick up the front loop of each stitch. Pull tight. This will close the opening. Fasten off and weave in the ends. Then take another piece of yarn. Cut a 40 centimeter yarn tail. Separate 2 strands from it. Embroider the stem at the starting point. The long segments span 3 rounds. Divide into 6 equal segments. Embroider short segments between the long segments, spanning 2 rounds. This completes the embroidery. That concludes the fruit. For the leaf, we will start with the foundation chain. Work back and forth. The stitches used include SC3 in 1. Now, let me demonstrate. First, cut a 40 centimeter wire, and set it aside. Then get the yarn. Make a slip knot. Hold the yarn with the left hand. Pick up the hook with the right hand. Insert into the loop. Now start working chains. After completing chain 1, insert into the top loop of the second chain from the end. Crochet a slip stitch. Note, do not tighten this slip stitch. Then crochet 6 single crochets. In the last chain, crochet 3 single crochets. Rotate the piece. Work single crochets into the remaining 2 strands of each chain. This is the entry position for the single crochets on this side. Note, do not insert into the same entry position of these 3 single crochets. Place the yarn tail above the hook to weave it. Finally, make a slip stitch. This completes the first row. Consider the right side of the first row as the right side of the entire piece. The yarn tail from the beginning can be cut off. Next, work the second row. Make a chain to start. Turn the piece. Skip 1 stitch. Make a slip stitch into the back loop of the second stitch. When working, pick the strand that is farther away from you. Then, work a single crochet. Also, insert into the strand that is farther away from you. Continue working single crochets into the back loops of the left single crochets. Once completed, the next stitch is a SC3 in 1. This means making 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Work into the entire stitch. When working the second single crochet, place the wire above the hook and weave it in. For the third stitch, do not weave the wire. Fold the wire. Then, crochet the corresponding single crochets into the back loops. Make one slip stitch. This completes the second row. Continue crocheting the third row, chain 1. Turn your piece. Skip one stitch. From the second stitch, work the corresponding stitch into the back loop. When making SC 3-in-1, weave the wire. Try not to let it show on the right side. Then, pick the back loop and complete the remaining stitches. This completes the third row. For the following rows, according to the chart and finish it. Except the SC 3-in-1 is worked in the middle stitch. The rest are working into the back loops. Remember to wrap the wire when making SC 3-in-1. Try not to let it show on the right side. Don't crochet in the wrong position for the skipped stitches. Look, this is what it looks like after completing. Crochet a chain. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Carry the yarn to the middle position. That concludes the leaf section. Next, we will assemble the branches. We have branch 1, branch 2, and branch 3. First, assemble each branch individually. Then assemble them together. Please watch me demonstrate. Watch me assemble it first. Then you can try it yourselves. Start with branch 1. Take the corresponding fruits and leaves. Take some strand. Wrap it about 1 centimeter below the leaf. Secure the ending position with glue. Wrap it about 2 centimeters below the fruit. Add the previously wrapped leaf. Wrap for another 4 centimeters. Secure it with glue. Set it aside for later use. That concludes branch 1. Assemble branch 2. Wrap it about 2.5 centimeters below the fruit. Take 1 leaf. Wrap 1 centimeter. Take another leaf. Wrap 1.5 centimeters. Take the fruit. Then take the flower stem and wrap it together. Wrap about 3.5 centimeters. Take branch 1. Wrap another 5.5 centimeters. Secure it with glue. Set it aside for later use. Let's look at finished branch 3. Before assembly, wrap 2 to 3 centimeters below each leaf. Wrap 1 to 2 centimeters below these 3 fruits. After wrapping, cut the yarn. Wrap 3 centimeters below the first fruit. After wrapping, don't cut the yarn. Add the 2 fruits wrapped earlier. Wrap 1 centimeter first. Add the leaves and flower stem. Wrap 2.5 centimeters and add the fruit. Wrap 1.5 centimeters and add the leaf. Wrap 2 centimeters and add assembled branches 1 and 2. Continue wrapping up to 18 centimeters. Secure the yarn tail with glue at the end. Up to this point, the Loquat branch is completed. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, enjoying the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.